Made in Love is my favorite slow burn, coming of age, unrequited friends to lovers show that I ever watched. This C drama has changed everything for me. I want to talk about my favorite moments. Alright, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Monique. I am the host of Off by Purple Heart podcast, and I talk about K-dramas and BTS and whatever else I want to talk about, basically. For today's episode, though, I actually want to talk about a C-drama, which is relatively new territory for me. I don't really watch a lot of C-dramas. This is probably my second one. The first one I watched was a while back. Does Untamed count? I think so. But anyways, this is first C-drama that I've watched got such a visceral reaction out of me. I'm almost speechless, right? It's so incredibly sweet and soulful and earnest. Just so earnest, and it's such an innocent puppy love. And I think the writer of this show and the cast and crew did a really great job in making something that on paper could be quite dubious, because the main attraction, the two characters, Dwan and Sang, you know, there's an age gap. It's very much a story about a young girl who basically falls in love with her brother's best friend, and there's like a 5-year difference between them. And when they first meet, the best friend is not looking at her at all as a love interest. He just sees her as this like cute kid and is protective of her because of his friendship with her brother. And she just slowly falls in love, and we see the entire progress of that and their lives. And how they form a really deep bond, and that rocky start of her just being in her adolescence and having to grow up, and him having his own financial troubles with his own past kind of catching up to him. They just develop this really deep bond, and it just grows into this really beautiful friendship and beautiful love. I have a video, and it's kind of going to be filmed out of order because I did a reaction video prior to this one I'm filming right now and recording audio for. So I'm mainly in this one just going to talk about my favorite moments of it. It's going to have spoilers, so just keep in mind for that. One of my first favorite moments, and I'm kind of reading off my notes at the side here, this is why I'm like glancing down, is the symbolism of the fox. There's this really cute plush animal that Dwan gives Sang very early on in the show, and it's something that's a keepsake for her, and it's kind of a symbolism of her being anchored, and it's just something so sweet about it. And this little stuffed animal comes back throughout the entirety of the show, and there is this really wonderful scene towards the end where she as a coder, as someone that's interested in animation, she ends up developing like this little animation which features this fox that's protective of this little character towards the end. And it's just very sweet how it all plays out. I absolutely adore it so much, but it's just more one of the simpler moments in the show that I think is just really, really cute and sweet. Okay, so I kind of got lost my train of thought for a second. I was kind of interrupted, but anyways, there's so many little cute moments. Very early on in the show, there is a point where they start to realize that they have feelings for each other. The female lead, she has gotten a little bit older, and she's now in university, and they've lost touch for quite a bit of time, and they're just kind of reconnecting, and they're just starting to have like this little they're just starting to have like this little connection where it's almost like they know that something has shifted in the relationship, something has changed, and they're starting to figure it out with one another. I really like this moment. I'm going to clip it in here. There's going to be a lot of clips in this podcast episode. I tell you, I love this. There's like this passive aggressiveness with Dwan where he's like trying to connect to her and say, hey man, you can't be going out and drinking with your friends like that. You gotta take it easy. And she's kind of pushing back, saying, you know what, I'm an adult now. I have roommates. I'm allowed to go out. I'm allowed to drink. But what really is irking him is the fact that one of her college mates is a guy, and he's expressed a lot of interest in her, and he's getting really jealous. And it's when the narrative in the show kind of starts to change, and I really, really like that. And I feel like the actors really did a good job with like the secret glances and the looks. There's another really wonderful moment in the show as well, where Song is like falling asleep, and the male lead basically confesses to her his love and how she's changed and how much he's loved the person that she's become. And it's just so swoon-worthy. There's another moment where earlier on when she was younger and he didn't have feelings for her yet, she was just on the phone, she was just casually talking, and he just buys her like a treat along with milk, not knowing at the time that she's allergic to milk. But she was so moved by the fact that he got her something. And then she kind of saves the bottle of milk, and it just becomes this really romantic thing where she starts writing little love notes in this bottle. And it's just so incredibly sweet that the callbacks towards this moment happen as well. There's another moment, he gets like a little bit of a medical emergency. He has, I think, appendicitis. She ends up being by his side as he goes to the hospital, and then there's a scene where she has to take care of him, and she gets really up close and personal in his face and is kind of wiping his brow, and she kind of just stares at him, and you could just see her just fall in love, and the tension is just so good because narratively, you know, things have changed. You know, there's that ushy-gushy feeling, and I have to say the music choices in this show as well is just phenomenal. It just makes you feel so incredibly good. With Dwan as well, he has a really dark past, and one of the major conflicts in the show is that an accident happens earlier on with his father. His father was involved with something really serious, and it basically ends up affecting him for a lot of his adult life. And his father basically killed someone, and the family of the victim is obviously distraught. And there's a young girl that's around the same age as Dwan, and she ends up staying in his life for a long period of time because he has to pay back for damages that happened to the family. And she ends up essentially stalking him for a lot of the show. And there's a point where there's like this major confrontation. It's like the climax of the show. And Song, she actually ends up defending his honor, and she throws like water in her face because they're having dinner. And this woman, she ends up confronting him, basically making him feel like garbage. And the way Song like defends his honor is so good. And I'm saying this all out of context, but when you watch the show, it is so good. Another moment that I really love as well is they're in the snow, and Song is making a wish for Dwan to take all the bad things out of his life and to make his life easier. And it's just so soft and dreamy and aesthetic, and the way he looks at her, you could just see the deep searing desire. I'm telling you, this actor does a phenomenal job of showing yearning And it's just, it's so good. There's another moment as well where a song is drunk and Juan is carrying her on his back. And she basically confesses in a way of her feelings towards him. He, at this point in the show, doesn't really get it yet. And he's just listening to her, and she's so heartbroken because she's like, he's not attracted to me at all. Because at that point, she was still too young, right? And he just didn't get it. And you can see him kind of slowly fill in the blanks, get the little puzzle pieces together, but he still hasn't fully got it. But I think just the way it's filmed is so emotional, and I think the actress did a wonderful job in just bringing everything in, and you feel for her in such a deep way. And then there's the scenes where they actually are together, and it's amazing. You'd think in most shows when the two leads get together and they become this couple, that all of a sudden that the chemistry would go away because the tension is broken because now they're together. No, they actually get more tension. The chemistry actually gets better when they actually get together. There's two scenes in particular that I'm going to clip right now where they do that whole trope where you fall into bed into each other by accident, and he just says this line, "You like excitement, huh?" And he just says it with like this deep timbre, and you could just see her heart like beating so fast, and the way that she's looking at him, it's like perfect. And then this other scene where he kind of grabs and like does this really cool choreographed like spin, and then you just see the two of them just come close together, and then the lighting, it just, everything is just utter perfection. The first kisses as well are just really sweet and cute, and their first kiss is just so adorable. She's like, lean in closer, come in, just come in closer, and then she just gives this peck on the cheek and the shock in his face. It's adorable. There's also a lot of scenes of him just gradually wooing her and getting her to see that he would be the best partner for her. That's just really cute as well. I'm gonna clip that too, and it's really good. And all of it comes down to like the final moment in the show where, you know, they have this beautiful relationship, they built these wonderful friendships, and he proposes to her. And the proposal is really well done because she's initially tricked into thinking that it's her friends that want to get proposed to, and she's setting up with everyone else thinking that it's not for her. And then the surprise at the end is that the proposal's for her. It's on the beach. They laid down all these rose petals, and he gets on one knee, and it's just so beautifully shot and sincere. Her family is there. Her friends are there. They're in the sunset. And it really pulls in your heartstrings. I actually cried a little bit. So all in all these moments are like my favorite. I've missed out a ton. I'm just telling you, this show just did slow burn so perfectly. I don't know if there'll ever be another show like it that will just perfectly construct a relationship throughout the many stages of life in such a beautiful way, and do such a perfect coming of age story, and still have the main lead character have her own dreams and her own desires. So it's not just about getting the guy. That is my episode, my rambly episode about Hidden Love, this C-drama. If you haven't watched it yet, you should go watch it. Even though I've spoiled pretty much the whole show, I think it's worth the journey to watch it, to see the growth in the relationship and how it changes from this friendship into this deep, beautiful love where both people genuinely love and respect one another, care about one another as people, and genuinely root for the best in each other, you know? Anyways, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any feedback, let me know in the comments section. If you liked it, please thumb it up. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening via Spotify, I really appreciate it. And if you can leave me any show notes as well, I'd appreciate that too. Anyways, till the next episode, peace. Bye.